what it takes to be successful is different for everybody, that goes without saying, but if you try hard enough, if you set yourself high enough goals, you might find at some point that, well, you're just not good enough, you're not capable of doing that. So what do? Well, you either let go of your dreams, just become another average person, and know that the life ahead of you, maybe in 40 years, you'll be looking back at the life that you just abandoned because it was too hard, and you will have to realize, well, what have I been doing with my life? But by that time, it'll be too late. So if you're a kid who sort of at least acknowledges that, and acknowledges, well, you only get one life, you can't really just let that happen to you, but you set your goals so high, and well, you know how dreams work, right? If you set your dreams really high, you can't really be like, oh, okay, well, that's just too good of a goal that I have for the one life that I have. That's just, like, I can't really do that, so I'm gonna aim low. No, that's not how you do life. That's not how your dreams work. If you have a dream, you have your dream, and your dream isn't to, like, do some softball version of that. No, your dream is what your dream is. And, well, what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna fail a lot. That might happen. That's what I've been doing for, like, YouTube, and I'm, like, how many years of failure do I have behind me? More than 5. Everybody's left me. I don't have any friends. Anybody, like, who cares about me? If I died of a heart attack right now, it's like, yeah, only my mother would care, and I barely ever talk to her. And it has been the case for, like, what, the past 5 years at least, and I've been knowing that, and that definitely takes a lot of, like, mental strain over you. So you might start doing drugs like I did, for example. But that's a whole separate story, by the way. I'm going on a tangent. But you might end up needing to start coping. But one thing that will definitely resonate with you, you will have to have new ideas coming, and you'll see a new idea just, like, completely just fell. You'll see another idea completely just fell. And at that point, you might start, like, it might start weighing on you. Every new idea that you try is just a new setback, more or less. It's just one less idea that you have left, and it's one more step towards the pattern of just failure. And it's like, at some point, once you start doing it, you're like, okay, well, I need to learn. Okay, I did that wrong. And that whole path really started with me for depression, by the way, not YouTube. So, like, at first I was like, wait, what on earth even is that? How do I get rid of it? What am I gonna make a schedule? Maybe I need to, like, just make a better sleep schedule for myself, make a diet. What do I need to do? And you're going to start failing, and if you know that this thing, you cannot give up on it. You have to make it, otherwise your life is worthless. Like, if that's the bag you're in, well, you're going to realize, if you've set your bar really high, say, making it on YouTube, my dream since I was a child, I've always known that I'm just an inferior person in, like, every aspect imaginable. Like, nobody ever wants to be around me, but I still get inspired by people around me, and I want to, like, do my due diligence. Like, everybody who has inspired me and all, I just hate seeing that in myself, that I'm just some person who no one's ever going to care about. And what I want to do, I want to be the inspiration that I've always seen in others and wished I could be, but even better, because, like, life is just one life. You have to dream big, of course. And, well, I've never, like, had any trouble dreaming big. Like, everybody knows that. Everybody. Well, you see, I'm a retard, but like, the thing is, when you dream big, again, you will tend to have a lot of roadblocks. And, like, these might start just, what's it called, pushing you down. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to convince you, if you really are, just have a passion in this dream, if this dream really means something to you. It doesn't matter how much you fail. I've been failing for the last 5 years. I'm never going to give up. Never. But, like, all of that, what's going to end up happening if you don't find out, okay, well, I just don't really care about this enough, it's too hard for what it's worth. If you, like, have set yourself with that dream, you're going to have to end up making either some type of excuses, because the failure is going to keep going over years and years and years. And every time you have to come up with some new idea, at first you start thinking, oh, well, that one's better. And, well, what I did, every time that I fucked up, I was like, I can't fuck up like this again. I need... And since I had depression, my depression was getting worse and worse. I was able to think less and less clearly by the day. I was extremely just panicked that, like, if I waited another week, if I kept waiting this out, I would literally not even be able to, like, express myself. If, like, put my thoughts, be able to use my, like, intellect, be able to use my brain to figure something out, because it'd be too late. I'd be too far gone. And I have, like, lived years with that. So obviously I couldn't just... like, just set that aside or something. But, like, bro, oh my god, my head's just all over the place. But, yeah, one thing that you'll start seeing is that you'll start having failure come again and again. And every time you have a new idea, to be able to keep the motivation, you'll have to find some way to convince yourself that this new idea is going to work. And of course, you don't want to just convince yourself, like, oh, well, let's just convince myself. Like, well, if it's not true, like, why are you doing it? So what you have to do, you have to look at all of your previous mistakes. Where did I fuck up? Why did this not work? I really thought this worked, and that's why every time you have to convince yourself that this one's gonna work, you're taking this seriously. And your new idea, you have to have analyzed it and really believe that it's gonna work, because otherwise it's not gonna work. Well, that becomes harder as you start seeing a pattern emerge of just things are failing every time you really believe that this next thing is gonna work. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the motivation to try it in the first place. But every time you're wrong. And then, like, as this continues, not only are you more and more, like, this pattern of failure just leaves you more and more out of ideas left to try. It leaves you more desperate and just, like, having a better sense of who you are as a person. You're a failure. I am a failure. But you're not who you are in the moment. I've been a failure for the past, like, what, maybe 10 years. But I am trying to get better, and I am who I become. And I will probably stay a failure my whole life. I've known that for at least, like, again, 5 years now. But, like, if you want it enough, you're not going to let that go. So the very first thing that you need to end up realizing is that at some point there comes a point where you need to realize, like, this next thing is probably not going to work, but I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to be trying, and you need to make that in terms of progress. It can't be like, oh, well, this next thing is what's going to make it. You need to try to get yourself a structure. Try to structure your life in some type of way. Try to build your way up little by little. Habits, that's one of the best things. Try to form good habits. Try to, like, find strategies to get around certain things. But, like, all of that stuff, at the end of the day, you'll tend to just see a pattern of failure emerging. And that's just like a virtue of you set your dreams really high. Well, good for you. You should. Life has a lot to offer, and you should try to get the best out of it. That's at least my mindset to life. Everybody should have that mindset. I don't care if I spend just, like, all this time, just like 90% chance of me having misery my whole life versus a 10% chance of me actually finding something that I would deem success versus just like a 90% chance of just, okay, well, I live a comfortable life, and like down the line I realize, okay, what have I been doing my whole life? Well, it's too late, I'm gonna die. But like all of this in general, what you're gonna have to do to that is realize, yeah, I'm gonna keep failing this, but this is normal. This doesn't mean, because if you don't do that, every new failure will just accumulate, and it'll just like destroy you inside. It'll tear you apart, as it has for me so many times over. I've just like fell in every time. It's like, well, I'm just not good enough. How do I do that? And it just leaves you confused and leaves you just like feel more desperate and feeling more and more horrible about yourself, because like you needed this to win. You really thought it would win, but you were wrong. And over, and as this pattern keeps going, it's like, okay, well, and that's sort of the where I ended up. Like, I ended up realizing, look, this next thing has gotta work. I don't have a clue how I could possibly have a next thing after that if this doesn't work. But always something comes, right? And you have to keep that in mind too. Something will come after. You still need to make it, so you're not just gonna give up. But every time it's like, okay, so this thing so far hasn't worked. I'm just like trying this next thing. Like, firstly, when you have the mindset, this one thing has got to work, this next thing has got to work, and it will work, because otherwise I just don't know how I'll get the motivation to even try it if I don't really believe that. What your mindset should be instead of that is, like, this is probably not going to work, but I should try to build up, like, make sure I feel intuitively as if, oh, well, yeah, this is going to work, but keep in mind at the back of your head, but I know the pattern, so it's probably not. But that's why as soon as I see that this doesn't work, I need to make it so that I can find that out quickly, like that I can, like, very quickly, like, firstly acknowledge that this might fail, because like that's what I've been doing for the majority of my life. This can't fail. This next thing cannot fail, otherwise I am worthless, and I've just like, I don't see any other way around that. Like, as I run out of ideas, I'm just like, how am I gonna come up with another idea after that? No. So, like, you're gonna come up with more ideas if you really care enough. You're gonna find an idea. You, like, get some Adderall, go find something that'll give you more ideas. That's what I do, at least. But, like you're going to have a lot of ideas. They're going to come, and a lot of them are going to fail. Most of them are going to fail, maybe all of them. But, like, you should keep that in mind and just, like, get a little balance of, like, not, and that's sort of some that I was just thinking about earlier. Like, when I realized that, I sort of flipped my mindset and just upside down to just, this next thing isn't going to work. I don't think this next thing is going to work. But, like, even though that is true, like all the evidence, the patterns that all indicates to you're going to fail again, and that's normal, like, that's also not a healthy way to see it, because, like, again, the subconscious mind plays a huge role in how well you do things, how well, like, if you believe you're going to be able to do something, if you believe you're going to be able to do it right, you're way more likely to do it right. You're way more likely. And yeah, the placebo effect just works just tons, but you know what's not going to help you as much as just not believing this next thing's going to work. That's going to make it not work. What's definitely not going to help you is for you to think that this next thing is going to work while the subconscious just like your subconscious realization just builds up every time that, well, I don't really think this is gonna work. I'm sort of just tricking myself. I'm sort of playing myself because I know there's no other way. Like, that's really all I have. I have to believe in this, because if I don't, like, what else do I really have? But at that point, that's also not really helpful, and every time you will keep failing, you'll just go deeper and deeper down that path. So you have to realize, look, I'm having a big, like, I have a big challenge. This is normal. But firstly, if I have failed a lot, just all of those failures, if I end up making it one day, and this has always been my philosophy, if I end up making it one day, all of that will be worth so much. I'll be glad that I went through it, because it'll serve as a life lesson. What is the value of something that, like, you really care about if you didn't have to work hard for it? It doesn't mean the same thing then, does it? If you weren't broken apart 100 times over trying to get your passion to work, what type of legacy do you really have? What do you have to be proud of? Well, I mean, there's definitely that, but one other thing that, and that's what I have recently had to, like, get back at is, look, you might very well be continuing to fail, at least me on YouTube right now, like, for all intents and purposes, I'm not winning. Like, look at me, there's still nobody on YouTube who's, like, a consistent viewer of mine or anything, but, like, I am getting better. Over the past few months, I've gone, like, I can make better thumbnails, I got a better mic, look at this mic right here, I learned how to use a mic, I learned how to, like, make scripts for videos, and now I've just, like, gotten a new idea for how to, like, so basically this is sort of a side tangent, but what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to make new videos, try to get, like, find some ideas that's gonna work, but yeah, basically what I did, since I sort of realized that I ramble a lot when I'm doing this, like, right now I don't have a script, I tend to ramble a lot, not be coherent, so that's not gonna do well for videos. So I just write a script, and from there I just read my script out loud, and like, then I just get that playing in the background. I just cut off the parts where I just, like, I'm not, like, where I fuck up in reading my script. Then I just, like, have it playing in the background, and with OBS, I'll just turn off the desktop audio. But, like, all of that, dude, my hair looks so awful right now, dude. But, yeah, all of that stuff, I just realized, like, oh boy, it's taking me forever. I'm just not good at reading my script. I have to take hours cutting it out. Well, I got a text-to-speech, and that way I could just read over the text-to-speech, and then I can make my script. And it's, like, just so many layers of work for that, but that's how much I care about it. And I am still making progress towards that, because at the end of the day, at least for me, if I can manage to find a series, some thing on YouTube that I could just, I know, like, this type of video, I could just keep doing it back to back. I don't have to find another idea, because I work a lot with structure. If I can have a structure, if I can wake up in the morning and know that, like, I know what I'm going to be able to do today. I know what I have to do today. I know, like, that I'm going to be able to do it. That's going to help me a lot with, like, my mental health and all. That's going to allow me to be a lot more productive. And, well, I'm not too far from, so basically all I really would need would be to find some series, something, like, I have made videos that have done well. Well, all I really need is to find a series that would do just as well as some of my videos have, and from there I just need to make it consistent. And like as soon as I find that, right, as soon as I find something like that, I could start making that on YouTube. All my dreams, all of this could be over. So I am making progress. That is something you have to realize, because once you realize, look, there's just patterns. There's just patterns. You have to acknowledge them, or you're not acknowledging reality. And those patterns just say that you have nothing. You have nothing ahead of you. You're just deluding yourself because you care about your dream so much. But like your brain, you're never going to allow yourself to realize that you're a failure, that there is nothing you could do to change that. That's not going to happen. So what do? Well, you're going to have to find some way of coping. So like just no, that's just like you might start thinking, okay, well, I'm just coping and that's why I feel like this is gonna work, but it's not gonna work. I should realize that, because otherwise I'm just I'm not gonna get anywhere by just deluding myself. That's not gonna help me win in this reality. Just like making some alternate reality in my head to be able to cope, that's not gonna help me. And I do that a lot, and that just really didn't help. But you can still acknowledge, look, you're making progress, you're like getting somewhere, you are like you can like take into account the steps that you're making. If you're making progress, that's good enough. That is, and it might not be good enough to you, it might frustrate you a lot, but if you're not capable of doing better, it's like, what else are you gonna do? But yeah, I just thought I'd ramble a little bit. I mean, like I don't really, I'd be the last person you should ever go to for help. Well, actually, no, I'm not. The worst people you could ever go to for help would be, say, a counselor, I don't know, you're like trying to reach out for help. They're just going to put you in a mental asylum, and then they're going to make you pay a fine because your mental health, that was healthcare, so you have to pay for it. They're just going to put you in jail, and well, that's going to be your lesson to never go reach out for help again. But like, I mean, as much as I don't feel like it's even a topic I have a passion, like, what the hell am I gonna talk about? But I mean, like this, clearly I write a lot of it on Twitter all the time. I just like talk about my life and how it's going, like how I'm trying to find my way. I thought maybe, like, since right now this video, I just thought I should do it for some reason. Well, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be starting to make videos like that, but yeah, just a thought. If you're just seeing a lot of patterns emerge that you're just not getting anywhere, like, you should firstly realize that, again, I'm just reiterating that the next thing isn't going to work. If you keep convincing yourself because you feel you have to, that this next thing is going to work because you've taken everything into account of how the other stuff felt, like, I've been doing that for years. Just, I know why every other thing that I've ever tried failed, and I know why this is gonna not fail, unlike everything else, because I've taken everything into account. And there's always something new that you haven't taken into account. And like everything, it's just, you're making motivated reasoning because you have to. So, like, you definitely can't go, like, keep going down that vicious cycle that will just keep tearing you apart as you just realize that, like your dreams are just falling apart. You just cannot live up to those expectations. That'll just tear you apart with that, like, but it's not necessarily the reality. You can be making progress, be feeling it, and right now, these days, I feel like it's been, again, the opposite. I've just been having this, just these patterns of failure that have been adding up, just tearing through me, and it's just got me to have that type of mindset that I'm never going to make it. But look, like, there is progress that you have to take into account, like how you see things. That's going to impact a lot how you're going to be able to do. And like, years worth of failure, that's going to drain you. But if you can change your mindset, that should be one of the priorities. Changing your own mindset around your own failures so as to be able to keep going. And that's a very important thing, because your failure is not going to stop with the next thing you do. You've like had years to figure that out, but you can very much change your mindset around it. Try to talk to yourself. Now, that's sort of what I do. I'll, like, my routine of the day. I mean, back in the day, I would just binge all my, like, 120 20 milligrams worth of Ritalin pills in just, like, the first 3 days of getting my prescription, which, like, is stupid. Then I just cope for the rest of the month, just, like, have my room start looking more and more shitty because I just be not have the motivation to clean it or whatever, right? Just like have my life just go downhill meanwhile and but then I started having this thing where like, okay, I'm just gonna take for a day, I'm gonna get my mother to regulate that, and I made some structure around my life. After that's done, I crash, and like eventually I'm gonna get up, leave, go outside for like an hour, like maybe 3 hours, just talk about what's been happening, try to like, you know, like keep my motivation, remind myself of like where I'm at and where I'm going and what I have to be working towards, and just all of that stuff I dwell on. So I got a structure around my life now, and like all of that being done alone, and just that more than anything, the fact that I've learned this throughout time, the more you start needing people, like people are only there for you until you start needing them. That's almost always true. That's just almost always the case, and you'll find that out if you go and like just chase some dream rather than just being the average person, because you can't stand that idea. Just you get one life, you're gonna be the average person. No, absolutely not. Not under any circumstance. I'd rather just fail 1,000 times again rather than have given up. That's just like that's a very reasonable take, of course. But the fuck was I talking about? Oh my god. Oh my god, dude, I just forgot what I was saying. Of course I did. I always do, but... Dude, I'm on so many drugs. I always do so many fucking drugs. But yeah, like, one other thing that is going to hurt you a lot is just, like, others aren't gonna be there for you. And one thing that you might really need, like, one thing that I was doing at some point, I was coping hard with that, and I would just, like, firstly, I was really scared with my depression and stuff. I was starting to be able to think less and less clearly, have less and less emotions, and I was genuinely panicked over that. And I was like, I can't even rely on myself to get better. Like, I need to reach out to somebody. And then I'd just keep trying to, every time I'd feel shitty, I'd try to talk to other people. Well, guess what? They just all ghost me one after the other because that stuff's annoying to them. Somebody, like, needs your help? No, that's not what you're here for. Most people do not want to be here for other people. They want to be here for people who are doing well, not for people who aren't doing well. And that's just sad. It's a sad reality of life. But at the end of the day, maybe that's because they have their own things that they're going through and you just never thought about that. It's like, that's very much possible. Maybe they just don't want to be pulled down your same cycle. But like, one thing you're gonna have to do, just stop trying to talk to people. If like you realize people are just leaving you, people are just ghosting you, people just don't care what you do, it's like, so it's only gonna hurt you more, make you more insecure about yourself and your failures if you're just constantly trying to reach out to people because you're just in panic mode. You're like, what's happening to me? Am I ever going to get better? I just don't feel confident in relying on myself anymore. If you do that, you are going to just, that is going to fuck you over, like 100 times over more. Because, like, you're going to have it hit you in the face, like, really harshly, that people don't care about you. People aren't going to care about you until you get better. And you have to stop marinating in your misery and your shame to other people. Like, of course, that's a long road. Like, I'm nowhere near getting to the end of that yet. But stop trying to rely on people. Try to tell them your problems. That's just not going to work. People don't want to listen. People aren't going to listen. And every time you realize that you, like, put all the thought, like, literally binging your like a medication to be able to have the right words for them, and then they just don't care, like, what the hell is this wall of text? That's gonna hurt you a lot too. But like, at the end of the day, you're really alone in a world where like, you might have a dream. Those dreams are very hard to accomplish, and life just sucks. Like, it just sucks. For most people, you are raised as a child, you have all of these dreams and aspirations that come to you. You, like, just grow up, and as soon as you sound, like, you're exposed to all of these things. Oh, well, look at this person who, like, who's breaking world records in this. Oh, well, look at what they're doing. That seems pretty cool. This new discovery that they're making. Oh, well, you could go into space, become an astronaut, do all of that with your life one day. And, like, as a child, you see that, and you're like, I get one chance to do that. I will do that. I'm not gonna be a average person who's not gonna have anything to do. I will do all of that. I will do every single thing because I get one life. And, like, I need to. I absolutely have to. Otherwise, what am I worth? Well, like, all of these things, if you have those inspirations, if you're trying to get everything that you can out of life, because otherwise, what's your life worth? It's going to be hard. Because all of that, when you see that as a kid, you realize, oh, well, that's very easy to dream about. That's very easy to dream about. You can daydream about it all day. And then later on in life, as I have been for the last, like, maybe 4 years, you can spend all your time just daydreaming about just the life that you felt to achieve, which only hurts you more. But like as a child, it's, wow, I get off on tangents a lot, but as a child, it's just extremely easy to just get influenced by a lot of things, develop big dreams, and later have to find out how hard it is to achieve those. Now, when I was a kid, I would oftentimes, firstly I had ADHD, but I had so many dreams. I was just so inspired by a bit of everything that, like, I just have some dream, some random dream. Okay, well, I want to make it to Mars. Okay, well, I'm 6 years old. I have a bunch of construction paper, and I'm going to make it to Mars before NASA does, because I said so and I really want to. But then before I actually, like, finish even taping all my pieces of paper together, to realize that, like, oh, well, that doesn't make a rocket. How am I going to make this work? Well, I have a new dream, and, well, now I'm going to make a, what's it called? Now I'm gonna dig a spoon in the ground and reach Australia on the other side, because I want to. I'm not gonna stop until I reach Australia. So where's that gonna end up leaving me? Well, in Australia, because I'm not gonna stop until I reach there. So of course I'm gonna end up in Australia digging with my spoon. And that's like that's just how kids work, especially kids dumb like myself, who have just grown up to become the stupid, like, unfortunately adult. I don't feel that old, but adult that I am now. And it's like, well, yeah, that just happens, but then you have to realize not only how hard it is and how much commitment it takes, but the fact that sometimes you might really feel like you're not able to do it. You might, and like, just, and certain things, not only might it take more time than you might be ready for, but it might feel like you're just trying, you're getting nowhere. Well, that's life. I'm sorry, it really is. You're just going to have hope, because that's all you have in this world. You have hope, you have commitment, and you have yourself. Not anybody else, yourself. That's all you have. And it's dark. It's like, it hurts. It sucks, especially as the years accumulate of just failure, nobody caring about you, knowing that nobody's going to care about you in the next year, or having had an illusion for so many years that, like, oh, I know nobody cares about me now, but watch that change with the next thing, watch it. And never, ever, ever it happens until you come to this realization. Well, I mean, that's sort of just the journey that one has to make. But would you rather have had that journey, have had all that hurt, just be waking up every morning, just feeling horrible, just, like, not being able to live like I am, just without coping, like, almost every second, just having such a hard time just toning myself out of just daydreaming all day, having all of my time just consumed by just me going on just, oh, well, just daydreaming about the life that I, like, felt to be, everything that I wish I had become. Like, all of that stuff might very well consume you. It's gonna suck. Some people end up killing themselves over that. But, like, the one thing that you can have is perseverance, hope, all of that. And you have strategy. You need to strategize. You need to get Adderall. That's, like, I would not have been anywhere. I would not be getting anywhere without Adderall. I would not be able to live. I would not be able to, I would have nothing without it. Absolutely nothing. So, I mean, that's always a tip I can give you, and don't binge on it, because otherwise, like, the only way that's actually going to help you is if you can have it consistently every day. But, like, lots of things to deal with. I eat maybe once every 2 days. I, like, gotta try to fix that, because, like, with my Ritalin, I take Ritalin. It's not like Adderall, but it makes you not really hungry. My life is a mess. I eat, like, barely ever. I'm constantly on drugs, constantly on weed, because I have to just cope with just the failure that I am, and the fact that I'm just trying my best, and this is what my best is worth. Just pretty, humiliating and things like that. But, like, despite all of that, if you really care about it enough, if you're determined enough, you believe in yourself enough, like, you might end up no longer believing in yourself, and that's just reasonable. Like, you see yourself failing so much, well, maybe I'm not that great. Maybe all of that I just had great inspirations, but those just don't really match who I am. Well, you have to change yourself for the better, obviously, but like, how are you gonna do that? Well, little by little. You have to go step by step. Look at where you are now. You have to, like, I mean, is there anything that I'm about to say that I haven't already said? Is it really, like, come on. But, yeah. And just anytime, like, I think one of the best thing is to try to form habits that are going to help you. Try to think about it, like, in terms of habits, and just try to get better habits, and, from the dude, like, I have to go to work soon, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this video.